There we go.
So, good morning, everyone. This is the IAB Coffee Morning on the 15th of April, 2026. So, very good to see you all. Welcome again. We have some fabulous speakers this morning. So, enjoying or dying to hear them speak as well. So, we have got, just to give you an outline of what's happening this morning, we have got Caroline Hobden from Accountex. So, she's going to give us an exposure to what's possible in our world and take us from and then we will be going over to Derek Granger, who is from Access Growth, and he's going to be talking to us about how to implement some of this fantastic learning we're going to have from Accountex. And as usual, all against the backdrop of the IB, who's able to give you that framework and those standards to support and sustain your learning. So we're going to start with Caroline. Caroline, I've got your bio here. Let me just read that out so I can introduce you to everyone. So Caroline Hobden is the Portfolio Director at Accountex, the globally recognized and market-leading brand in the accounting and finance event space. With over 20 years of experience organising events, exhibitions and conferences, Caroline oversees an £8 million plus portfolio that spans Accountex London, Accountex Summits Manchester, Accountex España, Accountex Canada, and Accountex webinar program and industry publication Accounting Insight News. She's a passionate advocate for the accounting profession. Caroline has built her career on bringing communities together through world-class CPD accredited events. She has launched several exhibitions, all nominated for industry AEO awards, and is widely recognised for her ability to create and deliver complex multi-screen conference programmes with exceptional speakers. Caroline's expertise spans the full events life cycle, including conference production, sponsorship sales and management, delegate sales, business development, and leading high performance show teams. A top 50 Women in Accounting alumni, and AEO and Exhibition News Awards winner. She is a proud ambassador for every industry that she has ever worked in. So, Caroline, we are very honoured to have you here today. And I will hand over to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I don't know about anybody else, but when you hear someone talking about yourself, it's a bit cringe, isn't it? But thank you. I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate the invitation to speak to you all this morning. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming along. Yes, I am going to be talking about Accountex, one of my favorite subjects, and something perhaps most of you know or have been to. But just in case you haven't, I'm going to give you a little overview of what the show is. So, Accountex is actually a portfolio of events, and the one I'm going to be particularly talking about today is Accountex London. It is the biggest accounting and finance event in the world. And it's coming around the corner very, very quickly. So we're going to be opening our doors on the 13th of May at London's Excel Centre. Very easy to access these days, especially if you can make use of the Elizabeth line. So not hard to get to. And it is very large. So we are expecting over 12,500 unique attendees to this show. You can expect a huge expo. You can expect lots of theatres, lots of content, lots of speakers. And as Sarah mentioned, we do also have that global portfolio around the world as well. So I thought it'd be really useful just to start off by showing you the floor plan, sort of a 2D version of what you can expect when you come to the show. So you can see here, looks a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle at the moment, but all the yellow spaces are all the stands. You can expect some of those really well-known names, Sage, Xero, QuickBooks, etc. But we've also got startups there, new and really exciting companies that are coming up through. All those kind of coral areas, particularly around the edges of the show. They're all our theatres. We have 13 of those around the edges, and we have another 3 within the show itself. And I do just want to encourage you all to come along and see the IAB team who are going to be on stand 275. I've just highlighted it here. It is close to the Theatre 4, and I'm sure the team there will absolutely love seeing as many of you as possible on the day. I did just want to draw your attention to this area in the bottom left-hand corner here, which has got an orange background because that's a brand new area of the show. And it's a brand new launch. It's called the FD Show. And for those of you that have been to Accountex before, you'll know that we have always serviced particularly accountants, bookkeepers with their own practices, with a very small theatre that we used to dedicate to accountants and bookkeepers from industry. What we're actually doing now is because that need was really growing, we have launched a dedicated show called the FD Show that's going to run completely alongside Accountex. There are no walls, there's no restrictions. You can go to both events. It will have its own entrance. It does have its own marketing. You may have seen it, but there's going to be plenty of content on both sides that you'll have access to. So one ticket is going to get you into two shows. And just to explain about who we're targeting. We are targeting really anyone from that finance function, in particular FDs, CFOs, and the C-suite. And we have got content dedicated to the FDs. We have two dedicated theatres and a case study stage for demos of the products of the vendors as well. There's going to be about 50 exhibitors in there, very different to the types of exhibitors that you've probably seen in the past. And like I mentioned before, it's got its own entrance and it's got its own dedicated marketing campaign. And I would just like to say that anyone who came along to the show last time and was there early on day one and got stuck in horrific queues, because we had 7,000 people got into the show before 11 a.m., was quite manic. We've opened up lots more entrances this year, so it's going to be much easier to get in. So I just wanted to reassure anyone in case you got stuck in that queue last time. So just going to talk a little bit about the different elements that you can expect at Accountex and the FD show. So altogether, we have over 300 vendors at the event. So whether or not you're looking to buy new software, change your software, you want to get an update from your current provider, or as many people do, they just want to meet their account manager, then you have got a whole host of companies to come and see. I really recommend that you check them out on our website, and our app will be available very soon as well. So you can plan who it is you want to see via the app as well. So I mentioned briefly that we have got 16 theatres at the show. There's an awful lot of content there, and there's lots to see and do. We've got over 300 CPD accredited sessions, which those CPD points are always incredibly valuable and easy to get at Accountex. There are actually 16 on offer. There are so many themes. I literally, I couldn't, it could take me an hour to probably go through even half the themes that we've got at the show. But just a few I want to highlight include AI, there's leadership, AML, MTD, so much more. There really is. And some of you who came to the show last time, may have visited our masterclass workshop. It was just a real testing the water for us last time, and we put it into a little office off the show floor. It wasn't big enough. We had standing room only. We had to turn people away at the door. So we've actually invested in this area, and we've created a theatre on the show floor. It's still going to be intimate in that we've got walling around it, so it opens itself up for less of kind of a speaker at the front just relaying their information, but it opens itself up more for questions throughout the session, a bit more discussion. People can share their personal journeys and any questions that they might have. And we've got sessions around things like how to build and scale, how to get clients to respect you, how to deliver five-star service. There is so much going on in those masterclasses. I really do recommend that you check them out. And we've got a couple of what we call showcase stages. And this is where our vendors can do short 10-minute pitches. So if you are thinking about changing your software and you don't want to potentially go up to the stand and get embroiled into an hour-long sales pitch, these 10-minute demos are really meant to be an opportunity for you to get a little tester, to see if there's something you might be interested in. And if so, that's when you can go back to their stands and have those longer, more in-depth conversations. And we also have our exhibitor stand theatres. So several of the larger exhibitors actually create their own theatres on their stands. People like Sage and Zero, for example. Sage always tend to get some really exciting sporting stars along as well. So I don't know who they are yet, I'm afraid. So I can't give you any insider information, but it's always well worth checking out their programs, which are also hosted on the Accountex website. So there are always going to be a lot of keynote speakers at an event like Accountex, and here are just a few of the faces. Some you'll recognize, some you may not. A couple of them you might think you recognize and you're not sure how. And that's these gentlemen in the bottom right-hand corner. If you're of a certain age and you're anything like myself and you loved athletics back in the day when we only had four channels, then you might recognize Roger Black and Steve Backley, who are incredible keynote presenters now, and they're going to be sharing insights for accountants and bookkeepers and what we can learn from elite sport. But again, do check out the website. This is just a pure sample. There are several more. And a big thing about Accountex is our love of feature areas. And we do try and make sure that these areas on the show floor are really exciting, they're interactive, there's going to be something to be learnt from them. I haven't put them all on here because, again, there are too many. But perhaps you're interested in doing an interview with our podcast pit stop team from Ask the Accountant. Perhaps you want to further your journey in LinkedIn and you want to improve your outreach and improve your following, then Ashley Leeds from Full Cup Coaching is there at our LinkedIn lounge. We've got the very well-known Rachel Harris, who's going to be there giving insights in her journey as well, particularly with the way in which she approaches social media. And we've got a sustainability zone as well, where we've got expert accountants and bookkeepers who are well on their way on their sustainability journey and very willing to share their learnings and their growth with you. However, we actually have a few new features this year, which I just wanted to share with you. Firstly, the Market Intelligence Hub. We're working on this with a company called Firmology. So if you're looking to get real insights into the profession, if you're looking to benchmark your business against others, then I really recommend that you go and speak to the team at the Market Intelligence Hub. And AI, a hot topic for many, and one that's actually quite terrifying for a lot as well. We are working with Dan Boyles from the Hello AI Collective and his expert team. I mean, their CVs are absolutely incredible. So if AI scares you, or if you've started AI and not sure you're going in the right direction, or if you want to take a different direction, any questions that you've got, no matter how big or small, I really do recommend you go and speak to Dan and his team because they can probably put a few of those fears at ease and they could really help to give you that journey and that direction that will best suit your business. Because I think we all try and throw everything we've got at AI, or we just don't do anything at all. And actually, they try and simplify it and break it down and encourage you to follow just certain tracks that are going to have the most impact on your business and particularly on your time. And you'll know if you've been to the show before that HMRC are regular attendees at our event. They come out in force and they're wonderful to help. They're going to have their MTD Hub there. Whilst the deadline's this month, there's still so much to be done and still so much to be learned about MTD. But they're also this year, for the first time, going to be bringing along their customer service team. So I don't think any of us are too surprised to know that it can be quite challenging to get through to HMRC sometimes on the phone, but they're actually going to be coming in person and they will be able to answer individual questions that you may have. So I really recommend that you go and visit them if you've got any queries at all. So I know that we've got a lot of bookkeepers on the call today, so I just wanted to reassure you that we have got so much content for you at the show. We have got the Bookkeepers Basecamp, and this was absolutely born out of feedback a few years ago where bookkeepers wanted to have their own area. They wanted to have someone that they could network and find their peers. And so we created the Bookkeepers Basecamp in partnership with Xero. And this really is an area where you can come along, you can put your feet up, you can have a drink, you can meet with your peers and colleagues, find your tribe, and just relax and enjoy yourself and have a sit down, which is quite important at a show like this. But for this year, we're actually introducing what we're calling the Bookkeepers Circle. And these are going to be short, very kind of low-key discussions hosted by real bookkeeping legends like Natasha Everard, Joe Wood, Zoe Whitman, Lara Manton, Claire Bartlett, Tim Charleston. There's going to be quite a few of them there that are going to be sort of leading a discussion around how they became so successful, how they got to where they are, what pitfalls to avoid. So I really encourage you to come along and just enjoy that moment, enjoy that space, enjoy your own area. And we also have the Bookkeepers Theatre, and there is just so much content in there. Again, it would take me so long to talk about it, but some of the names that you're going to see here, and again, these are just a few, and you'll recognize most of these. Um, I like to call them legends because I think they are, but these legends from the bookkeeping community. So really do encourage you to come along to this, and you can hear about topics such as AI for bookkeepers, a very specialized, honed in area. Again, talking about those failures and what people have learned and how you can avoid that in your own business. Marketing masterclass, something that I know a lot of us find very challenging, and this will give you some real hints and tips and tangible takeaways. And the power of networking. We've got a speaker coming along to talk to you about how you can really make connections at the show and turn those into opportunities. So, something that I always get asked about and something that I like to share is how can I save you time before, during, and after the show? What are my recommendations? How can you get the best out of the show? So, some of these are very obvious, and I really apologize if I'm teaching you to suck eggs here. That's not my intention, but just some things that maybe you might not think about. So, number one, please do register before the show. Don't leave it to on site. That's when you get stuck in awful queues. You can do it today. It's completely free, and you just need to go to our website, accountex.co.uk. Do book your travel in advance. You can get some discounts from doing that early. And if you are going to be staying overnight with us, I do encourage you to get on to those accommodation websites sooner rather than later because things are booking out close to the venue. Always encourage everyone to bring your own water bottle. We do have water stations within Accountex, so you can stay hydrated. And something that we introduced last year, which you may be aware of, but our theatres are very popular. They're sometimes it's standing room only. It is quite hard to hear at times. So we actually work with a company called All You Say. And All You Say provide a service whereby you can download an app on your phone and you can click on the theatre that you want to listen to at that time, and using your own headphones, you can listen to the content. You haven't got to worry about finding a pair of headphones that the organizer provides. Are they clean? Are they hygienic? Anything like that. Just bring your own headphones with you and you can loop into the sound system, which is just going to make the experience so much better all round. Really do encourage you not to wear brand new shoes to this event. Do try and test them out. Bring plasters. Heels are a bit of a no-no. I have learned that from years of experience. And we're going to be making our show app available very soon, along with the All You Say app for the sound. And that's something that I encourage you, even if you look at it on the train on the way up and start planning what sessions you want to see, you can build your own schedule in there. It's incredibly useful and it will help guide you around the show as well. So, when you're at the show, just to say, the morning you're setting off, just do be aware of our opening time, which is 9:30, with the first sessions of the day starting at 10:20. We shut at 6 p.m. on day one, and we shut at 4:30 on day two. Again, I encourage everyone to drink plenty of water, have a game plan, try and stick to it. It's not always possible, but if you have a plan, then you'll definitely get more out of this event than if you don't. Whether you're using digital business cards or the physical ones, you are always going to need them at this show for all the contacts you're going to make. And I always say to visitors, if you go up to an exhibitor stand, the exhibitor is going to be primed and ready with their pitch. They've been practicing it a million times. They can do it without blinking. It's just so easy for them. So I always encourage you to have your own leading questions and make them work for it. I think they like to be tested a little bit. So make sure you know what products you're interested in and ask them the difficult questions. Taking notes or voice memos, really useful just to help you follow up after the show and network your little hearts away. I say this to everybody, just talk to everybody. You're all there with a like-minded, you're all like-minded, you've all got probably some very similar goals. Everyone has got something in common at this show, and you never know what you're going to learn from somebody in the coffee queue or someone you're sat next to in a theatre. And then, if you need a little bit of respite, you need a little bit of downtime, we encourage you to visit our wellness retreat where we have massage therapists aplenty. It really does make us open our eyes about how stressed accountants and bookkeepers are because this company that we work with, who are incredible, there is a nominal donation, they pay it forward. They will then go and offer free services in hospices to not only the families but the friends and family of the patients. So they're an incredible company to work with, but they said that they've never given more head, shoulder, and neck massages to any other show up and down the country. They do about 300 a year than at Accountex last year. So I fully appreciate that there's a lot of stress on your shoulders at the moment. So do go and make use of this area. There will also be some mindfulness sessions in there and some mental health support. And if it does become too overwhelming, we have got a quiet room on site. And this is where you can enjoy just some low level lighting. You can shut the door on the noise of the exhibition. There are activities in there that are calming, and it just helps reset before you go back out there. And we very much hope that everyone will make use of our mindfulness doodle wall. It gets filled up every year with wonderful messages of support for the rest of the community, the rest of the profession, and it's really inspiring to see. After the show, we just encourage you to not leave those notes in your handbag or your briefcase or whatever for many weeks. Try and organize them straight after the show when it's fresh in your mind. Follow up those key contacts straight away. Think about any software that you might want to think further about or make potentially purchase in the future. And don't forget, please, that we record every single one of our seminar theatre sessions. This is because we know you can't be in 13 places. It's particularly the 13 seminar theatres that we record. We know that you can't be in 13 places at once. We know there's going to be content that you miss. And our way of saying thank you for coming to the show is to provide you with access to those recordings that you can watch when you get back home or back to the office. So do make use of that. And also share what you've learned with your teams. Maybe there's some follow-up that they can do on your behalf. What are the next steps? Maybe everyone goes off and learns something and you all come back together at the end of the show if you work with a team. Please do share your feedback with us. I can't stress that enough. We will send out a survey. There are things that we get right, but there are also things that we know we get wrong, or there are things that we don't do. For example, I think I mentioned earlier that the Bookkeepers Base Camp was born out of feedback from our bookkeepers. So where possible, if change and improvements can be made, we absolutely will put those into actions. And just don't forget to claim those CPD points, really valuable for those that need them. I know that carbon footprint can be of a real concern to many. It is to us. We work very hard on our own sustainability journey. For example, we make sure that all our carpet is 100% recyclable, along with our signage as well. But I think the thing that we're most proud of is that we have a partnership with a company called Karma. And over the last few years, we've planted over 30,000 trees. And this is in our efforts to plant a tree for every visitor that comes to the show. And we will be doing that again. So I know that that will hopefully put a few minds at rest. Something else that's really important to us is inclusivity. Something we work really hard at, and we have got a DE&I partner that we work closely with as well, just to make sure that we are being as inclusive as possible. This can include several things, from providing BSL in our keynote stages, so the interpreters are there for both days. Anyone who uses hearing aids, you can loop directly into our hearing loop system. I know it can be challenging to use headphones when you are a hearing aid user, so you can actually loop directly into the sound system. The previously mentioned quiet room, which I hope many will make use of. We also have gender neutral toilets. We have the opportunity for you to select pronouns for your badges if you so wish to. And for any wheelchair users, we have accessible registration desks and the aforementioned theatre sound app where you can log into the sound from anywhere within the show to make sure that you're not missing any of our content. And as mentioned before, Accountex is global. We are around the world from Toronto to Spain. We have got several offshoots of our Accountex event in Spain that lead into HR Expo and Legal Tech. So there's so many amazing things happening in the Accountex portfolio at the moment. So if any of that is of interest to you, then I please do encourage you to check out our website. And of course, we do have digital events throughout the year as well. So I would love to see as many of you there as possible. That's it from me. I hope that was really useful. I hope it just gave you a little insight of what to expect at the show. If you've got any questions, I would absolutely happily take them now. But I'm going to hand back to Sarah and thank you so much.
Oh, Caroline, thank you so much. I've been really looking forward to Accountex, but now I'm even more looking forward to it. So, yeah, so thank you. So, the chat's been very quiet, so I assume everyone's just been hanging on every word there. But I love some of the new concepts. I hadn't actually realised you'd brought in the headphones. I think that's great. Your wellness centre, that you know what you're doing with the carbon offset. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, the event has just grown and grown and grown. It's such a valuable 2 days for those. But yeah, please get prepared, make the most of the time. Definitely come and see us. We will have some of our ambassadors on the stand as well. So I know some of them are here today. But yeah, no, please come and see us. I'm going to be there for the 2 days. The team's going to be there. So any questions? Oh, well, I really look forward to spending some time talking to you all. That's what I really love about Accountex as well, isn't it? It's be able to have that face-to-face time.
Absolutely. And if
Um,
anyone has any questions after this, please do contact me, via LinkedIn or contact the team, whatever's useful. And we'll just happily help wherever we possibly can. But yeah, we look forward to seeing you, as many of you there as possible.
oh, thank you, Caroline. You're staying on the call, aren't you? So
I am.
if anyone's got any questions they think of subsequently, drop it into the chat. Caroline, please just answer ad hoc as we go along.
I will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Derek, welcome. So Derek, oh, I shall read out Derek's bio now. Derek has spent over 16 years working within and alongside the UK accountancy ecosystem, helping firms turn existing relationships into real revenue. Before founding Aris Growth, he headed up a business development team at EY, giving him a unique perspective on how accountancy firms operate from both inside and the outside. His focus is practical, not theoretical. Derek helps accountants and bookkeepers create the conditions for better conversations, stronger client relationships, and more consistent new business without it feeling like selling, which I think all of us find or can find difficult. So, Derek, over to you.
Hi, thank you so much, Sarah. Thanks for the intro, and thanks to everybody for coming along. Yeah, I get what Caroline was saying. You don't like hearing about yourself, but mine was nowhere near as good as yours, Caroline. I was trying to think of what's my claim to fame, and I don't think I have one. Although I did notice that so Ashley Leeds, who you spoke about in your presentation, is someone that we had on our podcast recently, and he referred to me as I think it was a sage and wise marketing guru, which I said to him, nobody's ever referred to me that before. I don't think they ever will again. But I did like the fact that he said something nice about me. So anyway, I'll share my screen and we will go through this. Bear with me for a second. And of course, now that I need to find it, the thing that I'm looking for has gone. Where are we? Bear with me for 2 seconds, just to get the right screen up. So we did test this before we started. Yeah,
I
yeah.
love the tech, isn't it? It's great when it works. Have you got it working?
Desktop. Yeah, bear with us. Hang on, I'm just going to pop this over onto my other screen so that I can share it. Why is that not working? Desktop to
Have you got it up and running?
nearly, or nearly there. Hopefully, share,
Here we go.
and I will just put that into. Share. Hopefully, can you guys all see my screen now? Or
Yes, we can do.
can you see it in presenter view or normal view?
Oh, in presenter view. So
Yeah,
you
just
might,
a wee
there we
second.
go.
It was all right before we started. I go.
Oh, it's still in presenter view.
Oh, yes, what this was.
There you go. That's it.
That's us now. Sorry about that. So,
No
yes,
problem. Right, over to you.
I am going to speak about how to get better clients or make your own clients better clients and get more of them. And really looking at how we can activate what you have already and building what you need. So there was a number of things that I could have spoke about in this presentation, but I've whittled it down to two kind of key areas that I see people making mistakes in all the time, or maybe just not doing best. But for most of the firms that I speak to, what I find is that they don't have a growth problem. What they have is an activation problem. You might be thinking, what the heck is he talking about with an activation problem? But essentially, they're just not utilizing the clients that they have already, the relationships that they have, and the opportunities that they have. And there's a much easier way to make this happen. But before I actually go into that, just to give you a little bit of my background so you can maybe think, well, maybe he kind of knows what he's talking about. So I have worked with accountants and bookkeepers for the last 16 years, actually slightly more than that now. I started off in tax investigation insurance way back in 2009, I think it was. I've worked with accountants and bookkeepers of all shapes and sizes all across the UK, from the very smallest working out of their back bedroom right up to and including working in one of the big four, where I was at EY. Some of you might, well, I'm assuming that a lot of you will know Brady Last, who is the COO at the IAB. So Brady was my boss. I was a director in her team, and I headed up the business development team there. But following my departure from EY, I decided to launch my own business in 2023, which is so far doing okay. And I work with accountants, bookkeepers, fractional CFOs, helping them to turn their existing relationships into real revenue. And I do this through practical, hands-on stuff. I'm really more about getting involved and getting in there and helping people, as opposed to giving you the information and expecting you to go away and do it yourself. Because the reality is that most bookkeepers and accountants are not salespeople, and they never will be salespeople. And people trying to turn you into a salesperson are always going to fail. So I try not to do that. I try and help you. So it's a done with you type approach that I have, so that you can do things in a way that actually is not going to be. Trying to think of the best way of describing it, but basically, that's going to feel horrible because even as someone that's done sales for 26 years, there's bits of it that I don't like, so I wouldn't expect other people to do it. So, as I say, I've split into two parts. First bit, activating your existing client base. And this is a bit that I've had a lot of success with firms with. And I think that any one of you on this call today will be able to get some value out of. So what I see at the moment is that most bookkeepers and accountants rely on referrals, which is great. Referrals are brilliant. The vast majority of my clients come to me via referrals. However, when I delve a bit deeper on that and ask people, okay, so tell me about your referral system or your process that you have in place to make sure that you capture referrals and that you maximize that opportunity. Most of the time, the people that I'm speaking to will go, what system? I don't have a system. I don't have a process. At best, they might have a little bit on the bottom of their email signature that says we like referrals, or we're open to referrals, or if you know someone that could benefit from our services, please refer them. That's not a referral system. That is hope in a bottle. And while it will get you some results, it's not consistent. It's not something that you can rely on. So that is an area that I think that people struggle with. Another that I see happen all the time, and particularly every January I see it, but I see it throughout the year, is where people have a real burst of activity, and they say, right, I'm going to post on LinkedIn every day this year, and they get into about week 2 of January and then they stop because they're not seeing the results, they're not getting the impressions that they want, nobody's engaging with it, nobody sent them a DM, so they just stop doing it. Or at various other points in the year, you go to Accountex, for example, and you come away with all these great ideas and things that you're going to do and you're going to implement in your practice, and then 2 weeks later you're just back to doing the same thing again. And then the last bit is that I see, and I can count my own accountant and bookkeeper in this as well, and hundreds of other businesses that I have spoke to over the last few years, and I've asked them about the contact they get from their accountants and their bookkeepers. And generally speaking, the stuff that people are trying to speak to their clients about, they are not interested in it. That's the reality of it. It's not something that they're interested in. I get emails from my accountant most weeks, and most of it I don't even read, because to me it's not, it's stuff that I know needs to be done, or maybe stuff that's important, regulatory stuff, but it's not stuff that I'm actually interested in my business. So you're speaking to your clients, but quite often you're not speaking to them about the right things, or the things that are of interest to them. If any of those 3 things feel like they're kind of true to yourself, or maybe some of you will admit and go, actually all 3 of them actually relate to me, then there's some stuff that we can do to try and help you with that. So what do clients actually care about? Really simple. They want to save money, they want to make money, and they want to save time. And I think probably all of us in this call would probably argue that that's the kind of things that we're interested in. So rather than speaking to people about MTD, for example, and I'm not saying that MTD is not important, clearly it is, and there'll be a lot of clients that it's very relevant for. Actually speaking to them about things that are going to save them money, make them money, or save them time are the things that will really move the needle. Now, one thing that people say to me all the time is that they find it difficult to have those conversations and for it to be natural. But the best relationships in business, they might look effortless, but they are not at all. They are engineered. And as someone who's been in business development, as I say, all of my career pretty much, I will continually engineer opportunities for me to speak to my clients, and essentially trying to create moments with them where you can bank some collateral with them. So every check-in that you have, every introduction, every time that you speak to them about something useful, without them asking you, that's an opportunity for you to start a conversation with them. And it's an opportunity that I find that people miss quite often, because they do the good thing, and then they don't do anything about it. And I'll give you an example of this. So I work with a number of accountants and bookkeepers, trying to help them to find opportunities where they can speak to their clients. And most of the time, those advisors, they'll do something good for the client, but then they won't actually capitalize on that. But actually using that as an opportunity to try and look at ways that you could save them money, make them money, save them time. That gives value to the client, but what it does is it gives you permission to have a bigger conversation with them. As I say, a perfect example of this. So one of my other, as well as working with accountants, I work with tech startups selling into the accountancy space. And one of the tech startups that I work with is a firm called Meshed, who are an insure-tech business that work with accountants. They plug into your cloud accounting, bookkeeping software, so that they can monitor for changes in cover, so that clients aren't underinsured. And just to throw a wee stat out there, Aviva, who are the largest insurer in the UK, estimate that 50% of all SMEs in the UK are underinsured. This is a big, big issue. So actually, by being able to suggest to your clients that you might be able to find a way that can save them significant amount of money on insurance and make sure that they're fully protected, it's a really easy, high value but low effort opportunity for you to have a conversation with a client. So either a business we worked with recently who they referred one of their clients, which was a tree surgeon business, quite a big tree surgeon business in Scotland, one of the biggest ones up here. That's an industry. They have lots of potential risks because they're working in dangerous environments, they're working with heavy machinery, etc. And their insurance costs were something like 50 odd thousand pounds. We said that our client saved £10,000 or just over £10,000 in their insurance. Which was great, but that's where the story ended, or at least that's where the story was going to end. I then spoke to, it's an accountant as opposed to a bookkeeper, but I spoke to the accountant and I said, okay, now is your opportunity to go and speak to that client and say, look, we've just saved you all of this money, which is great. Do you know anybody else in that same industry that you could introduce us to? Because we're doing a lot of work with them and we're saving them lots of money. And guess what? Tree surgeons know other tree surgeons. Manufacturing businesses know other manufacturing businesses. You know, restaurateurs know other restaurateurs. And by being very specific about what you're asking for and asking for someone in that particular industry, as opposed to, do you know anybody you could refer us to? You will get far better results. And as it happens in that particular scenario, that tree surgeon knew another tree surgeon. He's introduced that accountant into them, and they are, fingers crossed, just about to sign them up as a new client. So, as I say, it's about creating those opportunities that essentially give you permission to have a bigger conversation with them. It's not rocket science. It's really, really easy. Uh, and because not just because Caroline's on the call, but because Accountex, I was looking at some of the people at Accountex and some of the businesses that are going to be at Accountex, and there's quite a few of those businesses that you could speak to who will be able to save your clients money, make your clients money, or save your clients time. I would be speaking to them and thinking about that when you go to Accountex and actually thinking, okay, which one of these can I partner with that's going to help me to have better conversations with my clients? And the reality is they all want to partner with you anyway. But you don't really need to do much. It is a simple case of making the introduction. They'll do the work, whether it's insurance, whether it's commercial finance. I was speaking to someone yesterday who's involved in treasury, and he was telling me about how they helped an accountant's clients to make a huge amount in additional interest by moving their bank accounts. So things like that, look for those things. And if you do that, you will be able to create these opportunities or create these moments, as I like to call them, for good things to happen. It's a win-win for everybody. Your clients win, you win, everybody wins. So that's a bit on that. If anybody's got any questions, I can't actually see the questions because of the way that I've ended up with this on my screen, but oh, actually, that's there. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask me during this. Or you can ask me questions at the end, whatever works for yourselves. So that's a little bit on how to activate your existing client base. Obviously, we don't have a lot of time. There's loads of other stuff that I would go into normally on that. Now, what I want to look at is how we can find new clients. And for most of you on this call, that the primary battleground for that is going to be LinkedIn. That's where your clients are. That's where your prospective clients are. Some of you might be big into other social media. I know there's some accountants and bookkeepers doing great things on TikTok and Instagram, etc. But the area that I really focus in on is LinkedIn. I've been on LinkedIn since 2009. I think I've got 16,500 connections on there. I post most days. Some people wish I wouldn't. But I'm fairly active on there. I don't class myself as a guru, even though Ashley Leeds did say that I am. But I've been working on it for a long time and I've came up with some things that actually work and things that maybe you might, or hopefully by the end of this, you might think, oh, I hadn't thought about that. That's a different way of looking at things. So here we go. There is more than one way to win on LinkedIn. your posts are the thing that keep you visible and that anchors you in terms of your credibility and stuff like that. But too many people get too worked up about posting and about impressions and likes and comments and stuff like that. It's not the most important thing. And I would say, certainly since the changes that came into LinkedIn last year with their new algorithm, if you are chasing impressions, you're probably going to be disappointed more often than not. Because I've certainly seen that my reach has dropped dramatically. I used to be able to post a video of me out walking my dog, talking rubbish about tax, and I would get 10, 15,000 impressions. Now, I'm lucky if I get that in a week, some weeks. So posting is good, but it's not the most important thing. One of the things that I am seeing that is working very, very well, and it's working well for me, and it's working well for the clients that I work with, is actually getting involved in conversations, treating it more as a community thing, as opposed to treating it as something that you just post and then wait, hoping somebody's going to get in touch with you, but actually getting involved in conversations. And quite often, if you get involved in conversations with some of the big kind of LinkedIn people, you can find that you get more impressions on your comments than you would in your own posts. So get involved and be part of that community, because the more that you give, the more you'll get back. And actually, I can't prove this exactly, but I know from speaking to some other people as well that when you're in those conversations and other people are looking at it and reading it, it then doesn't force, that's the wrong word for it, but what it does is it encourages the algorithm to put you in front of those people again. So when you do your own posts, it's a bit better. But ultimately, the bit that will get you the most joy on LinkedIn, if you are looking to try and use it to develop business, is direct messages. Because that puts you in control. You choose who you want to talk to and how you want that conversation to go. And really, it's about trying to control the conversation. That is the key part. If you're trying to just hope that you can get that to work on LinkedIn itself, LinkedIn is not really interested in you, me, or anybody else. Its job is to try and keep people on the platform as long as possible. But if you really want to control it, then you should be trying to do things yourself, proactively, to get people speaking to you, start real conversations with them. But then the key bit of that from that is try and move them off the platform, and put them into your environment, put them into your world. So whether that's arranging a call, I'm not suggesting that you connect with someone and then you send them a message saying, "Can we have a meeting?" You need to build up a bit of rapport with them first. People need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you before they're going to do any business with you. But try and get a call, try and get a meeting, even get them signed up to your newsletter. Anything at all that moves you from LinkedIn's world into your world will make a difference. And if you can do that, you will see a big difference in terms of the value you get from LinkedIn. I quite often see people, and I've done it myself. I'm not, and I still do it. I can be guilty of this, of writing posts for your peers as opposed to writing posts for your prospective clients. Those posts are great because actually you get a lot of comments and stuff like that, and you finish the day thinking, "Oh, great, yeah, I'm getting loads of people are interested in what I'm talking about," but they don't move the needle because your peers are not going to become your clients. You need to write for the people that you want to actually work with. I'm not saying don't write anything for your peers. There's a lot of stuff around, that community aspect, but from a business development point of view, writing things that are actually for your client or your prospective clients are the things that are going to move the needle. I posted something about this last week, and Kirsty Mitchell, who from Free Agent, I'm sure a lot of you will know Kirsty, had commented back on it saying, Derek, I find the exact same thing. Some of her best performing posts in terms of actually resulting in conversations are the ones that she gets the least amount of impressions on. And I'm the same. I've had posts where I've had a couple of hundred impressions even on them, but actually I've had two or three people reach out to me in the DMs. Quite often people, when it's things like that, they're not going to put a comment on it, but they will reply to you privately. So yeah, that's my kind of tips on LinkedIn. There's loads of other stuff that I could go into, but in the time that we have, I'm conscious of that. But here is something that you can do starting from tomorrow that I promise you will get you results if you stick to it. So three things, one rhythm, really, really easy. Re-engage with someone that you haven't spoke to in a while. So I would normally say 30 days. If you haven't spoke to somebody in 30 days, re-engage with them. Just have a conversation. That could be a prospective client. It could be an existing customer. It could be a supplier. It could be an introducer. It doesn't matter who it is, but speak to someone, whether it's sending them a message, or I would always say pick up the phone, but picking up the phone is something that's very natural for me, even if it's to cold call people. I know that it's not natural for everybody else, but re-engage with someone that you haven't spoke to. Do that once each day for the next 90 days. Start one new conversation. Again, really simple. If you don't have a list of your ICP, your kind of ideal client persona or profiles, I would recommend getting that. But then from that list, reach out to one person a day for the next 90 days. Dead easy. You will definitely see the needle move. And then lastly, follow up on something that's already in motion, but that's maybe fell by the wayside a little bit. So if you've got proposals out to people, if you've been having conversations with people, we've all got those little loose end type things. Just one of them every day. If you do one of those a day and have a conversation with people, you will see results. And it doesn't need to be a hard sale, just a conversation, just speaking to people, and having a chat, being interested, being curious about what it is that they're up to, and then telling them about some of the stuff that you're doing as well, because there's lots of cool stuff that's going on in your space. There's lots of things that you could be speaking to them about. If you're struggling for things to speak about, I'm always happy to have a chat. I can give you some suggestions on things that you might want to speak about, things that are working for other people. So that's my things that I would suggest. If you can do those over the next 90 days, it's a bit like going to the gym. I'm sure there's a few of you at least. That sounds terrible. Who are regular gym goers, or at least have tried going to the gym at some point. Personally, I mean, I had a knee operation last year, so I couldn't train for quite a while. I've always been quite a fit, healthy person, but I started back again last August because my physio said you're going to need to start doing some weights on this because you're not going to get the strength back in your leg. And because I'm getting older now, it's good. It's harder to recuperate, but I didn't expect to go into the gym and go and do one really hard workout and then walk out. That's it. Knees sorted. We're all good. I had to build it up over a long period of time, and I would say that I'm probably now just starting to see the benefits of that, and that's what 9 months later or something, where I'm actually seeing I donate each month to the gym. I like that, Caroline. But yeah, so it's a similar thing. Just these things that all compound, and it's the bit that I think people don't realise when they think about business development, particularly people that aren't, it's not natural to them and it's not what they actually do. But just doing small things, pick even if it's even although I've said three things, even if you just done one of those things for the next 90 days, you will see a result. If you do three of them, you're definitely going to see better results. Following on for that, there's other things that you can layer in there once you start to become really kind of fluent with that. But this shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes a day. And I know you are all really busy. We're all really busy, but most days can find 15 minutes if we want to. Yeah, if you follow those, I think you will get results. And that is pretty much it from myself. If that resonated at all, let's have a chat. I only work with a small amount of advisors. I'm not looking to try and make my business into this huge business. It's not really what I'm looking for at this point in my life. I've got a young family, and I like to spend my time with them as well. But I do work with accountants and bookkeepers. So if any is want to have a chat, even if it's just on an informal basis, I'm always happy to try and help people. I kind of try and live by I don't know if it's a philosophy as such, but I always say if you can help someone, you should at least try. And it's just the way that I always am with things. So if any of you get any questions, if you're not sure about LinkedIn or anything like that, I can give you some help. Otherwise, what I tend to do is refer people into Ashley Leeds because he's a proper LinkedIn specialist. But yeah, so anybody at all, if you've got any questions, anything like that, I'm more than happy to answer them here. And likewise, feel free to drop me a message afterwards. If you want to connect on LinkedIn and stuff like that, I'm on there as well.
Oh, Derek, thank you ever so much. That was super helpful. And I wrote a note down here when you were talking, and that is people love to help people. So if you can help them help you, then that's
Absolutely.
being clear about what it is that you want. People love to help. So again, I grew my bookkeeping business mainly through referral, but that around slightly more structured referral, I think is really, really important. Love your key takeaways as well. Really straightforward, actionable, and your analogy to that training. It is just training a muscle, training yourself just to, get into that routine. Is that, well, that atomic habits, isn't it? But that's small things make a big difference exponentially. You don't see it immediately, but you absolutely see those results later.
Yeah, it does. It makes such a difference. I've been playing around. I don't know if anybody else is, kind of dabbling with AI and stuff like that. But I've been building over the weekend a like habit tracker for accountants and
Yeah.
bookkeepers, for business development, and it starts with this as a foundational level and then builds on from that. But it's just getting into that habit. It's the same way with anything. If you want to learn a new language, you don't learn it in one day. You've got to go and continually build on that and build on those foundations. Um, it's the same way everything, isn't it? The business development's just like anything else in that respect.
Yeah, consistency pays off. So, thank you ever so much to both of our speakers. The chat's actually been just full of love today. Not many, not many questions. So, but yes. So from me, our stand at Countex is number 275, as Caroline pointed out on the map. Really looking forward to seeing you there. Our next coffee morning is the 20th of May, so that will be after Accountex. But yeah, no, I'm genuinely looking forward to meeting as many of you as possible over that period. And thank you to our speakers today. Really, really, really good advice. And yeah, thank you again. So we shall see you all in a month's time. Thank you everyone for attending today, and carry on the good work.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.